How's it everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Sanctum Gamer here, and as you can see, we're staring at the brand new screen. We're starting something new. As mentioned in the last video, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, is I want to jump into something different because the simulation speed on Scattered Island is just slowed down so much. It's made it quite a painful play. So I figured I'll start something new, start afresh, and at some point we'll return back to Scattered Island when we know that things have improved or mods have come along that will hopefully make things a lot easier. So it is not the end of Scattered Island. We will definitely be getting back to it, but for now let's jump into something different. And I wanted to build something that is very different from Scattered Island. I thought I would make use of the Reeches map, Reeches, or however you pronounce that. It has a nice temperature of between 3 to 34, so 34 degrees, so we know we will not be getting any snow in here, which is awesome. It's a North American themed map, but I'm honestly not too fussy about that. I think in this series I'm going to try and build both European and North American towns all on the same map. I mean, after all, the game allows me to do it, right? So why not? So this is not going to be a single city. We're going to build up a region. I have no idea what we're going to call this region. So for now, I'm just going to call it the multi-region, and that's what it's going to be. And we're going with my usual left-hand traffic. We're unlocking everything as well as unlimited money because I do not want to spend forever sitting and waiting for things to build. So yeah, we are going at it. Let's get started. Alrighty, welcome to Reeches. I don't know if it's Reeches or Riches. I'm probably going to be saying Reeches because I like the way that sounds more than Riches. But yeah, here we go. This is the map. If you look at this map, it is an extremely flat map. There's like virtually no hills or mountains anywhere, which is awesome. It's exactly what I want because I plan on introducing my own hills, mountains, and so on as we build along this place. So the plan is to have multiple small towns all over the place of different themes, but I'm gonna try and keep all of the maps, all of the towns around this river, but I will probably have one that is further away. You know, gotta try different things, right? So yeah, this is what I'm thinking. I was thinking of starting my first town around here. We'll put like a little hill or something around your mountain rather, and then have the town sort of hug that. Now I do have mods active, so if I'm not mistaken, if I turn on the Anarchy mod, I should be able to do whatever I want, wherever I want, without having to worry about, without me having to worry about unlocking tiles and so on. So we'll worry about the tiles unlocking and everything. What I want to do is just make a couple of modifications to this area, get the river flowing in and about a little bit better, and then we'll get things started. Right, we've got something going. Gonna start letting the water in. I want the water to flow in a little bit here. In my mind, I want to have a small little town over here, and right next to it, we're gonna have another small little town. And then at some point in the future, we'll end up building bigger towns, probably around this area. So this is where we'll have a big-ish town with like a harbor and everything. But for now, I just want to start off with something nice and small. Now, part of the reason why I'm making this river nice and big, whilst that fills out, let me continue doing this, is that I want to connect up everything in this town via, well, in this region on this map via boats. So the harbor is going to be a big friend of mine in this build. Gonna get rid of that road. Honestly, I don't care because I'm going to rebuild all of this, and everything will have, or at least every town that we build that is near either the river or the sea here, as you see it, will have a harbor. And that's how I plan on connecting up every single thing in the whole area. So I want to try and see what it will be like if we try and create small little towns that are all interconnected by just the river and the water. I know the game doesn't really have like small ferries and the like, but I still think that making use of the harbor and building every town around the harbor might give it, you know, a nice decent look, and we should see a lot of boats running up and down, which I think will be very, very nice. So that's what I'm thinking. I definitely am planning on using mods in this series. As you can tell, I already have the Anarchy mod, the tree controller mod, as well as the line tool. I will very likely be getting a few others as we go along, but for now, let me just let that water fill in. Oh, what is that? It's a piece of land that's like right in the middle of things, which I don't really want. So let's get rid of you. Let's make you nice and deep. I want to make sure that nothing is going to get in my way when boats need to start running all over this place. I don't get some weird I don't know if I will even get anything like that, but I don't want to get any weird errors like, oh, water is not too deep, or who knows what other funky errors I could end up getting. Anyways, cool. So as the water fills out, I think I can go ahead and start planning a small little town around here. And yeah, let me just see what sort of road networks I can lay out for this town. You know what? I think because these tiles have been unlocked, the roads are not showing me the zonable cells. So I actually have absolutely no idea whether the grid is turning out all right or not. So let me just go ahead and unlock all the tiles around here, because this is where I plan on doing a lot of my building at the moment. So I think if I can just grab these, because I'm going to connect up the roads and stuff over onto that side, even though I will change that, but I will be connecting that side in a bit. So let's see, there we go, that's better. See, just as well that I did that, because these are not lined up nicely. All right, let's see if we can get things to line up. All right, I think this should give a fairly decent overview of what I'm trying to do, or at least the sort of look that I'm trying to go for. So I'm trying to get not too big of mountains, but just a number of hills all over the place that will almost border every town that we build. And this is going to be the separation between a lot of these small towns. And then in between all of them, I'm going to try and go for these makeshift farm-like places and then build a little more detailed farms in and around. So the idea is that this town is going to be small. The main city center will be sort of around here in my mind. And then all of this is going to be a mix of low density residential and farmlands. And we're going to have a mix of the two, a mix of makeshift farmlands. So we'll use spaces like this, where you use the trees that make it look like the farmlands to sort of cover most of the large spaces. And then we'll create a few more detailed ones closer to the city. But the actual town itself, not city town, but the actual towns themselves will be very, very small. They will almost all be a mix of rural like farmlands type towns with some density just mixed in. And then not every town will be this small, right? Like the one that we're going to build here, the idea is that this is going to be the main town of the region. So this one will be probably fairly sizable, like in and around this area. And then we'll work in a place to put in all of the industry per town so that each town is able to almost be self-sustaining. And in this one's case, I'm thinking of bringing industry over into this area simply because if you look at the wind direction, it's all going into that sort of space. So if we have the farmlands here, the wind goes out in that, the wind blows all of the pollution in that direction, and then that gives us enough of a space to build a bigger town where we'll have the bigger factories and then maybe another small town in that space. So far, that's what everything is looking like. This road is going to hug around this water space and it will supply the industrial area and will go out to join the main highway, which I do plan on redoing as well at some point. And then this road is going to continue hugging over here and connect up as many towns as we possibly can in and around this space. So yeah, that's the plan. I think so far so good. I'm either going to draw out a few more roads or I'm probably going to start zoning, and then as I zone, I'll see how I'm going to be changing up the roads, because none of these roads are final. Especially this area where we're going to have the residential areas, I'm definitely going to split them up into smaller pockets of what's this thing? Residential spaces. And a lot of these areas will probably also split into smaller areas, because I don't plan on having any like 4x4, well, not 4x4s, but like 5x5, 6x6s. Those are definitely too big for this town. So everything will be a mix of probably 2 to 3 grid size, lots and things like that. So yeah, that's the plan. So far so good. Actually, before we continue, I kind of figured I'm going to change the region name. This multi-region thing is boring, so I'm going to make it Coral Reeches, since that is how I want to pronounce the name of this map. I will name the region Coral Reeches until such time as we have a better name for it. This is what it's going to be. Alrighty, I think I need to set up utilities and stuff, so let's see if we can get something in place and basically get the town functional. So I was looking down at this build, right, and I realized that I can't really put a high school anywhere. I don't want to put it all the way back here because I've got this little hill over here that I want to maintain, and because of the sheer size of the high school asset, it's just wow for a small town. So I figured the best way I could do this is to make it some kind of a centerpiece around this area. So I want to remove the hospital or the clinic, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get rid of this parking lot as well as a couple of these roads. And in my mind, we can convert this area into the high school, and then it looks like some kind of a government building or something of the like, right? A nice centerpiece around the main town area. So we're gonna get rid of that road. I think I need to get rid of all of these actually. And then let's go ahead, grab the high school, and let's plonk it down over here. And then I think that fits in quite nicely. Then this can be passed off as some kind of a city hall or something of the like. We will not give it the field upgrade, obviously, because we will not be left with any space. So we can give this the full upgrade and then probably move the clinic to somewhere around here. And I think that also allows it to stand out quite a bit, and perhaps do a slight modification in this space where I can just reclaim back a little bit of land, which it looks like all of this area is already at the right height. So with that, we can go ahead and just give it a little change that will make the whole area look like, there we go. So we can develop around here and make the clinic also some kind of a unique asset or something that is in this place. Let's just give it a couple of the upgrades, and then we can do some detailing around it. And I think that will fit in very nicely, and this allows me to then have an elementary school, a high school, and I think all in all this whole area should then come together nicely once we put all the buildings around it. I think the only thing that I wish I had a little bit more room for is the soccer field. This is something that I would love to put down somewhere, but it is also so big that I don't really have a place that I can put it except here. But I want most of this area to be residential, so I'm not 100% sure. It'll be nice to have it here. It's just that then this whole area is just a field thing, unless we have the field somewhere around here. I think that might work. Oh no, not that one. I don't want the American football field. I want the soccer fields, the football fields where I am. But you know what? So this one is a little bit smaller. Is it possible that I could squeeze it here somewhere? Maybe I can, and it won't look so bad. How's that? I think once we develop around here, this should actually complement the space pretty decently, I think. So yeah, I think that will be the layout of the place. The only thing nothing is missing, right? We've got fire, police. Yes, we have police. We basically have every single thing. Great. So then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a couple of roads around here that is going to be developments that we'll do. And then what I will then do is that I will complete off the road networks, and let's see if we can get the whole thing looking nice. Okay, as I'm laying down all of this, let me just grab a little bit more land, because I'm tired of constantly going between, what's this thing, anarchy and non-anarchy. So let me just grab a couple of those, and I think if we can just lay out this area, so the place that we plan on starting most of our build, that should be good. Looking down at it, this is a nice little hill, which is exactly what I want. I want to try and keep the landscape not too flat, but I also want to build the roads first and then sort of squeeze the landscape in between the areas where we have the hills. So it just looks like the landscape or the roads were built around the valleys and basically where all of the flat land was, making it easier to actually build. And the plan is that around here, I'm thinking we'll have another small settlement in that space. But this area is where I want most of the traffic to it's where I want most of the industry to sit. It's just simply because it will make it easier to have the, what's this thing? The smoke and the likes just blow away. So we're just gonna clear out a little bit of space, probably lay down some basic roads, and we'll only start building the industry around here when the demand for it starts going up. So that's the plan. So with all of this sort of flattened out now, let me just get out a big brush and then we just level all of this out, just so that the declines and the inclines are not too hectic. The only thing is I think I have this a little bit too high off the ground, so let me do some terraforming here, try and get the land to be more even, and then we'll go ahead and build a couple of roads in and around the space. All right, check that out. I think that is looking pretty nifty. I see here it's flooding a little bit, so this is something that I'm gonna have to go and sort out, but I think this is looking really nice. I was planning on zoning all of this area out, but I'm starting to think that's probably not going to happen in this video because I'm just enjoying laying down all of this foundational stuff. So I want to go ahead and continue laying the foundation. I want to branch off a couple of areas off of this. This the highway, right? So the expressway that's connecting all of these areas up. Branch off a few places. I think places like this are like ripe for tiny little pockets of industry, tiny little pockets of settlements. So I just want to do a couple of those. lay out the place a little bit more. Love the way the trees are shaping out around, and I love these like makeshift empty slots that, you know, they can pass off as just green grass areas. It can pass off as farms. I mean, it can pass off as anything. So I want to lay a couple of roads just off of the road, maybe a couple of roads out in this area, and then I don't know, I think we might be nearing calling it quits. I don't know. I will see how long this video is when we actually edit it. But yeah, I think this is looking quite all right. Let's just create a couple of branches of the road and then we will take it from there. All right, so we've got something. Oh man, we've got the layouts of 2 places down, which is looking good. I wanted to try something around here. I have no idea what I'm gonna build here yet, but one of the things that I have been wanting to try for the longest of time is not that, but rather that, which is the add object when you press home. And one of the things I want to test out is this boulder thing. You can see I was trying to play around with it just to see how I can create these, like, what do you call these things again? Breakwaters. I think this is something that I don't want to spend too much time in the what is this thing called, man? In this developer mode, or doing too much low level detailing, I'll be honest. But it's definitely worth trying from time to time, just to get just that little bit extra spice into things, you know. So it's something that I want to start playing around with a little bit more in this video, or at least in this series, but not so much that I don't get to build. And that's the thing that I am most scared of, is that I don't balance well enough the need for detailing versus the need to actually expand the town itself. And that's something that I really want to try and get right, and see if I can put myself in a position where I can do all of this sort of little detailing, but not so much, not too much. I think I can put a couple of the autumn trees down in this area, because the whole point, or the whole idea behind this, is that this is not something that is really serving much of a purpose anymore. It's been neglected and it is all worn down, and now the trees are basically just taken over completely. And so it's coming even right up against the road, so that I really try and capture that look of, okay, the Mother Nature is reclaiming what is basically hers, and yeah, it is what it is. But otherwise, that's all right. This was something that was here once upon a time. I have no idea what it is, But so far, so good. I think everything is tying up quite nicely. I got a couple of roads down here, but they don't stand out for me as much as I had hoped that they would. But these areas here, they definitely stand out quite nicely, and I like the way that is starting to shape up. This is something I said I was going to deal with. Like, look at that. I did not realize that the water level was this high. So this is not nice. Let me get rid of this and raise the land and then replay these roads. I hope I can remember how these roads actually, it's probably not going to be the same. Alright, so that should be a bit better. Hopefully there's no more flooding. I think a couple of these trees I can just get rid of so that that place looks like we're going to do some actual development in and around the space. Keep it like a nice empty lot of just green grass. Yep, there we go. That works out. I've got it back to almost the way it was before. I think this road was connected to this one. I think, if I am not mistaken, I think those were connected. But yes, there we go. So this is the start. It's a small town, tiny little settlement, industrial area. That is the plan. The only thing that's missing now is connecting this up to the rest of the region, which I think I'm going to do. But the reason I'm reluctant to do it is because I want to get rid of this road. So maybe now would be a good time to get rid of this entire road and then build I want it to be an expressway that sort of meanders its way, and then this will come around and then join up to it somewhere around here. So let me put something together just so that we have an entry into this place, and let's see how all of that will look. All right, everybody, I think we're laying the foundations for the perfect rural settlement. I mean, I love it. I love the green spaces. I love using them to achieve this sort of, I think that landscape is looking very, very, very nice. So we've gone from having a perfectly flat land to at least places that has some realistic ups and downs, I think. So over here, I'm trying not to make the mountains too high, because it's gonna be low enough for me to be able to still extend some build up onto the top of it. So I'm thinking in my mind we can have like little farmlands or something that sits right on top of the mountains, and have farms actually going up the little hills that are all over the place. But yeah, I think this is looking pretty decent. I really like it. I'm really happy. I'm glad I'm trying to do a more of a rural build. I think everything is shaping up very, very well. In the next video, the plan is we're gonna zone out all of those places as well, at least as much as possible, kick off some of the industry and everything, and I am looking forward to it very, very, very much. Alright everybody, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. There's still quite a bit of infrastructure development that we still need to do, but I think we'll defer that to the next video where we'll get in power, water, sewage treatment, the works, and some of these roads will probably be fleshed out a little bit more, and then we'll kick in all of the zoning. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. If you've been here a while, you haven't hit the subscribe, please give it a smash. It is truly appreciated. Big thanks to all of my patrons and YouTube members for all the extra support that you show the channel. It is truly appreciated. As we jump into the cinematics, I hope you enjoy the landscape and what it looks like. There isn't too much, but hopefully in the next video we'll start kicking in some of the zoning and extending things out. Take care, and I shall see you all then. Cheers.